My name is Emily. I'm 28 years old. I'm looking very cool now. I want to tell you a secret story from my life. A story I've kept close to my heart. One I've never shared fully until tonight. It's about love that never really ends, about a loss that shattered me, about the cruel whispers that followed, and about the one person who became my reason to keep breathing, the boy who saved me without even knowing how much. This is what really happened when my husband died, what people thought about me, and how my son and I found our way through the darkness together. It started 3 years ago, on a stormy autumn evening. My husband, Michael, was my everything. We'd been married since I was 19. He had this quiet strength, those kind hazel eyes that crinkled when he smiled, and hands that always knew how to hold me just right. We lived in a cozy house on the edge of a small town, surrounded by trees that turned golden every fall, just the three of us. Me, Michael, and our son Ethan, who was 15 at the time. I still remember the little rituals that made our days feel magical. I'd slip into my favorite soft blue dress that hugged my curves, let my long chestnut hair fall loose, add a touch of lipstick, and wait by the door when he came home from work. He'd stop, look at me like I was the only woman in the world, and whisper, "Emily, you take my breath away every single time." Then he'd pull me into his arms, and I'd feel his heartbeat steady against mine, like a promise that nothing could ever break us. That life felt like a dream, until it turned into a nightmare. One night, the rain poured so hard the roads were slick and shining like black glass. Michael was driving home after a late shift at the factory. A truck hydroplaned, crossed the center line, and in one heartbreaking instant, he was gone, just like that. The man who lit up my world was taken, leaving behind an emptiness that swallowed everything. Those first days blur together now. I'd curl up on our bed, clutching his old flannel shirt, breathing in the faint scent of his cologne mixed with sawdust, sobbing until my chest ached. At 25, I was a widow. My body, the curves and softness people always noticed, felt useless, heavy with grief. I didn't want mirrors, didn't want eyes on me. I just wanted him back, his laugh, his touch, the way he'd kiss my forehead and say, "We've got this, love." Ethan, my gentle, thoughtful boy, he was grieving too. But even at 15, he carried a maturity that broke my heart. He saw me fading and refused to let me disappear. So he started with the smallest things, the ones that felt like whispers of love. He'd wake before dawn, brew coffee the way I liked it, strong, with a splash of cream and a hint of cinnamon, and bring it to me on a tray with a single flower from the yard. "Mom," he'd say softly, sitting on the edge of the bed, "you have to try, for me." It felt like a knife, twisting in my chest. Not because their words could touch what we had, they couldn't, but because they dared to taint the purest love I'd ever known. A son's devotion to his broken mother. One night, under a sky full of stars, I couldn't hold it anymore. We were on the porch, the air cool and scented with pine. Ethan had just come home from a double shift, his hands still rough from work. I started crying, the words tumbling out. They think we're together, like that, like husband and wife. Ethan, how can they imagine something so ugly about us? He looked at me for a long, quiet moment. His eyes, Michael's eyes, were steady, full of a love that made my heart ache. Then he spoke, voice low and sure. Mom, let them think whatever gets them through their own small lives. We know what's real. I get up every day because I can't stand the thought of you facing this alone. I work so you don't have to worry about the bills, so you can sleep at night. That's it. That's all there is. If they see happiness and twist it into something dirty, that's on them, not us. He reached over and took my hand, not possessively, not romantically, but like a promise carved in stone. His fingers were warm, strong, calloused from building our future one paycheck at a time. From that night, I made a choice. I wouldn't hide our light. I'd wear the dresses that made me feel alive. I'd laugh freely. I'd hug my son in public if the moment felt right. Because our bond was clean, honest, unbreakable, the kind of love that heals instead of harms. And slowly, some hearts softened. An older lady who'd whispered before came to my door with tears. I was wrong, Emily. He's not your burden, he's your miracle. Ethan kept going working, studying late with me quizzing him on math, saving every dollar. Last year, he earned a scholarship to college for engineering, just like his dad dreamed of. Today, at 28, I feel more alive than I did before the storm, because I learned the deepest truth. When life rips your world apart, sometimes the hand that pulls you back is the one you've held since the day he was born. If you're listening and your heart is heavy, if judgments are weighing you down, if someone's twisting your closeness with the person keeping you afloat, hold tight to what's true inside you. Real love, the kind that mends, that supports, that asks for nothing, doesn't need the world's approval. It just needs two souls refusing to let go. That's our story, and I'm not ashamed. I'm grateful. Thank you for letting me share this secret part of my heart tonight. If it moves after school, he found work at the local hardware store stocking shelves, loading lumber, sweeping up at closing. The pay was modest, but it covered groceries, the electric bill, the mortgage payments that kept threatening to overwhelm us. He'd come home with calluses on his hands and dirt under his nails, but he'd always flash that quiet smile when he saw me. I got us pizza tonight, Mom. Extra cheese, just like Dad liked. Bit by bit, I started coming back to life. I began wearing pretty things again, not to impress the world, but because Ethan would say, "You look beautiful today, Mom." Dad would be smiling so big right now. So I'd choose soft sweaters that draped over my figure, let my hair catch the light, add a little mascara to make my eyes sparkle again, not for anyone else, but for the boy who was fighting so hard to keep our little family whole. Evenings became our sacred time. We'd sit on the porch swing as the sun set, painting the sky in pinks and golds like a love letter from heaven. I'd tell him stories about Michael, how we met at a summer fair, how he proposed with a ring he'd saved for months, how he danced terribly at our wedding, but held me like I was precious. Ethan would listen, sometimes with tears slipping down his cheeks, sometimes laughing until we both cried. Then he'd lean his head on my shoulder just for a moment, like when he was little, and I'd run my fingers through his hair, feeling the warmth of him, the steady rise and fall of his breathing. People noticed the change. My skin had color again. My laughter came easier, softer, more real. I walked with a lightness I hadn't felt in years. And Ethan was always close, carrying bags from the car, fixing the porch light, surprising me with wildflowers he'd picked, because they reminded me of your smile, Mom. That's when the rumors started creeping in like shadows at dusk. At first, just quiet comments. She's so young and still so stunning. It's almost unfair. Then sharper. She's glowing again. Too soon, don't you think? And always with that boy. Then vicious. Maybe the son's filling more than just the provider role now. Living alone like that. Who knows what happens after dark? I heard it all. Women at the grocery store would glance away when I passed. Men at the coffee shop would stare, then mutter something low and knowing. One neighbor even said it outright. Emily,